What's happening, people? And once again, welcome back to youtube.com/CubCamTV for this, another edition of CubReacts Requested. This morning, we're getting into this one from Alikiba featuring Mayorkun. This one goes by the name Jealous. Very excited to get into this one. This is one that's been very heavily requested on the channel, so big up everyone getting involved in that. If you have any requests you'd like to get in, please do leave them in the comment section down below. We do read every single comment on the page, and this series is all about reacting to the tracks that you guys suggest, so please do get involved. On top of that as well, please make sure if you're new to the channel, you're hitting the subscribe button on the right-hand side of the page, turning notifications on, leaving a like, leaving a comment, all of that good stuff. We're trying to hit 16k by the end of the year. On the current rate of growth, we can do that if you guys stay involved. So please do remain getting involved in as many ways as you can. Without further ado, then, let's jump right into this one from Alikiba. It goes by the name Jealous, featuring Mayorkun on the feature. So let's go.
Oh, Lele.
Big auto-tune vocal, very nice. Slower tempo as well. Those strings are big GI strings. This is really cool, man. Right from the off as well with this one. Obviously, when I kind of do these videos, I do them very much from a point of view of I'm trying to learn as much about sound as I can as we go. Now, obviously, this is a sound that is a bit slower. It seems very different to me. I'm assuming there are hundreds of tunes out there with this same sort of approach, those big sort of GI sounds. As always, if there's any sort of genres or sort of overall things, please do leave them in the comment sections down below, because it means it gives me more experience and more opportunity to explore more than anything else, because it means I know what I'm looking for. But with this one, I'm liking the arrangement. I'm loving the sort of subtle percussion over the intro. Again, those big sort of digital sounding strings over the intro as well. Very auto-tunedy vocals. It's an interesting take, man. I'm interested to see where this one goes, especially with the slower tempo running things.
Oh, shoo, you found me from zero to hero, but it took a pamoja. Why you getting jealous? Why you getting jealous? Why you getting jealous?
Vocals are lovely. Yeah, again, that general sort of approach with the vocals, we're getting very choir heavy, almost gospel-y in the way they're kind of stacked up on top of each other. Really nice. Again, the slower tempo on this one allows for a few different rhythmic directions. It allows for this kind of stuttered rhythmic approach, which I think works really, really well. Again, those percussive layers are almost working in time with the sort of piano keys that have appeared, and they're giving the whole thing this kind of natural bounce, this natural sort of back and forth kind of movement. It almost feels like you're being swayed from side to side as you listen to it. Again, really nice arrangement on this one, man. I'm interested to see where the vocals go more than anything else.
Why you getting jealous? They're getting jealous. I know they're getting jealous. Don't buy whatever they sell us. One way ticket to Europe. Yeah.
Picking up pace. The whole video is nice as well, man. The video definitely feels like it's not necessarily like an engineered party scene, but it definitely feels like this is like it's based around people having a good time more than anything else. That's definitely what the video feels like. Obviously, you've got sort of card games going on the tables with chips and stuff. You've got a pool table going on, people dancing, having a good time. What more could you ask for? But then obviously on top of that as well, you've got these constantly switching up rhythms. And again, as soon as we heard that sort of rolling 4/4 kick drum, I was almost reminded of sort of Celtic stuff. Obviously, I'm very Celtic myself, so when like I hear those sort of almost like 4x4 patterns with sort of strings working in a very sort of circular hypnotic pattern, you can hear the sort of comparison. A lot of Irish stuff, a lot of early Scottish stuff as well. There's a nice comparison there between the Celtic sound and what we're currently listening to. That's really cool.
Baby babu wahala, me I know like you wahala. Plenty girls on my matter, but I know they shake cassava. Girl, I'm for you, you only you.
Nice, man. It's a wicked intro vocal as well. I think the thing that I really like about this so far is both of the vocals have been quite standout. They've been both quite big, quite bold in the middle of the arrangement as well, rather than sort of being drifted into the distance, something we tend to hear when stuff is a bit more 4/4 in the arrangement. We tend to hear stuff almost drift into the background a bit vocally. The vocal is very central, very straight through the middle. The main point of the tune is the vocal, essentially. That's what the producers and the engineering team have tried to get across. But then you obviously couple that with these really kind of intricate, slower 4/4 drum rhythms, and then obviously the percussion kind of rolling through underneath, those big GI strings kind of marauding around the top end. It gives you a really unique sonic picture, man. I'm loving the direction, I'm loving the arrangement, and I'm loving the video as well. It's giving me really good vibes.
Now you still getting jealous, oh. You're getting jealous, I know. You're getting jealous. Don't buy whatever they sell us. One way ticket to Europe, yeah. You're getting jealous, I know. You're getting
it's a proper little dip and weave of a tune, man.
One way ticket to Europe, yeah.
Yeah, this bit here, bro, this is cold. I almost feel like I'm at one of the I'm sat around the seeing stones, dancing around to the fire. That's kind of how I feel like with this. It definitely has that sort of almost Celtic kind of trying to think of the best way to describe it. Quite like a mystical kind of theme about it. When you use those sort of slower 4/4 drums, those sort of sliding violin and string patterns, I think it might be a cello being used on this, or at least a GI sounding cello, kind of working its way around those top kind of those top frequencies. Obviously, that it comes from a completely different route, but that's the sound I associate with those kind of rhythms and sounds. But it's quite a cool comparison as well. I think both the vocals so far have been fantastic. Again, a lot of energy, really making use of these kind of stuttered, quite syncopated rhythmic approaches from the drums as well. It gives the whole thing a really nice sort of bounce, a nice sort of natural weave that you find yourself being dragged side to side with. Really, really nice. Oh, there's some mishaps going on between the tables. I love this vocal. Again, the whole thing, it's quite a hypnotic sounding tune. Like the way that everything's been arranged, the fact that everything goes in this big sort of circular pattern, the way that all the strings kind of almost go up, then down, then up, then down, then up, then down. When you couple that with the slower rhythm, and again that percussion, which does go like do 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 da 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 do 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 da da do 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 da da da. It feels like you're going around in a circle. It almost feels like you're kind of going up and down on a wave. It has this hypnotic kind of repetitive kind of feel about it without it sounding boring. Really, really difficult thing to achieve on a production angle, and again, the arrangement on it works really, really well. I love the higher pitched vocal we just heard as well, giving the whole thing a bit more depth, a bit more kind of texture. Really, really clean, man. And I'm loving the fact this keeps changing as we go as well. That overdub over the top works really well. Those piano keys are clean. Cool shot. I like the shot of both of them in the car as well. That's really cool. I think the thing that I've liked about this as well, they've both been quite active in the video. They've both kind of taken a lead on it. It definitely feels... one thing I will say is it feels like the tune has had quite like a strict journey, despite the fact I'm not really... It constantly changes. It feels like we do know where it's going to go next. Like, it hasn't been sort of like, wow, I wasn't expecting that. But that's not always a bad thing. You know, I like unpredictability, but sometimes with a tune like this, especially with a rhythm that is always with a rhythm that is slightly unusual, at least to my ears anyway, I like the fact that we are kind of still being able to be brought down a pathway. You know, we sort of know where we're going, which works really nicely. Again, those piano keys really, really clean. I'm loving the fact they keep popping up every now and then. Again, those 4/4 drum rhythms are getting me every time, man. I love the arrangement on this in general. And again, both vocals have sounded great.
Buy whatever they sell us. One way ticket to Europe. Yeah.
Bassline's really clean as well. We haven't really spoken about that yet. Again, there are so many different things going on in the more sort of lower end of this one. The bassline's really, really clean. Those rolling kick drums as well. The thing I like about the bassline on this is that it's subtle. It's not like... I'm in your face, I'm the bassline, I'm going to be telling everyone where to move. No, it has this kind of subtle marching nature to it. Again, when you combine it with that more, I suppose, unorthodox style of rhythm that we're hearing on this one is a good way to put it, because, again, I may be completely wrong and it may be a very, very common thing that I just haven't come across yet, but it feels like this is quite an unorthodox arrangement of a tune. And again, it works really nicely, man. We'll let this one finish out and then we will get into our final breakdown. I do love those strings, though. I feel the video is almost a little bit kind of slapstick as well, without it meaning to be. There we go. Oh, that's so annoying. I can't see who directed it. The thing's in the... Let me see down here. Performing new single. Please say it has the director on it because it doesn't have it. Oh, that's so upsetting. The director's right there. Why can't I see it? That's so annoying. Anyway, overall, really like this one, man. I like the direction. I love the fact it's so different. I love those sort of, again, very sort of spacey strings. I love the fact that they have that kind of GI feel to them. I love the fact it switches from the stripped back rhythm into those rolling 4/4 drums. I think both vocals work really well next to each other as well. The video has this kind of almost cheeky kind of feel to it, you know, like what happens at the party stays at the party sort of vibe. And overall, I think it's a wicked tune, man. Definitely see why this one is picking up as much steam as it is. As you can see, yeah, approaching 9 mil in just a few months. Crazy stuff. Alikiba's doing absolute bits, I've got to say. I'm definitely keeping up to date with what's going on there. But there we go. As always, my friends, if you did enjoy this breakdown, please make sure you are getting involved in the channel by hitting that subscribe button on the right-hand side of the page, turning notifications on, leaving a like, leaving a comment, all that good stuff. And, of course, please make sure you are getting your requests in via the comment section down below. We do read every single comment that comes onto the page, and we'll get round to all of them eventually. Also, please make sure you do go and follow the new Spotify playlist we've set up, the Fresh Afrobeat Flavour playlist. I'm updating this on a regular basis, i.e. as soon as something new lands, I'm getting involved in sending bits over. So please do get involved with that. That's it from me, though. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, and we'll see you all next time. Peace.
Sounding so good right now.
Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel right now, CubCamTV. Stay locked.